Greetings, family. Peace, love, and black power. This is Guru. Thanks for visiting my channel. This vlog is on politicized Department of Justice brings further shame on institution in Eric Garner case. So, family, the New York Times reported Monday that the Obama Justice Department has replaced the New York team of FBI agents with its own lawyers investigating the chokehold death of Eric Garner. If you recall, I just did a vlog on this story yesterday when news broke that they were replacing the FBI agents because they could not come to a resolution regarding the accountability of the death of Eric Garner. This is all presumably triggered by a good faith difference of opinion by the replaced group of agents and prosecutors on whether the arresting police officer should face federal civil rights charges for Garner's death. But it stretches the imagination to assume the reason is anything other than concern by Attorney General Loretta Lynch and her Civil Rights Division that an indictment may not be the result of the investigation. Well, that's true. This was just an investigation, sure enough, by a different group of FBI agents. I think that's important considering that when you have the police policing themselves, 9 times out of 10, you are not going to get a fair investigation or results thereof. So the fact that they replaced the ones that were initially involved, I think that's a start in the right direction in the first place. Family, before I continue, I just wanted to point out the fact that this article is an editorial by Ron Hosko, as you can see above here, right up underneath the subject line, the headline. And then also I wanted to point out the fact that the picture that I used here is a picture that Ron Hosko happened to use for CNSnews.com. But you notice it says Loretta Lynch on the day President Obama nominated her to be Attorney General. In other words, family, this is not only is it an old picture, but it's an picture by design. It is an orchestrated picture. It's a picture that's supposed to tell a story, of course, with President Obama in the background. Europeans are not very slick with how they try to trick the public into thinking or trying to infer certain things that they want you to believe. It's part of their trickery. It's part of their influence. And to use a picture that's old and not something new and relevant, I find that quite odd and strange. And I don't know any. I have other words to use, but nonetheless, it's just not right. Nonetheless, he's trying to tell a story here by having President Obama in the background of this picture that happens to be old when she was nominated to be Attorney General. So, of course, he uses an old picture to cite his story, but yet the story is published here on October 26th. This is the trickery that they use. I digress, so let's get back to the story. So, family, Ron Hosko continues, there is no question that the Justice Department has been highly publicized by a president who has repeatedly struck the wrong course in policing matters. From his early leap to judgment against Cambridge, Massachusetts officers responding to race card throwing Henry Gates residence following reports of a break-in, to the president's ill-timed supposition in the death of police assaulter Michael Brown in Ferguson, to his, quote, "You're all racist," unquote, memorial service lecture of Dallas police after 5 of their own were assassinated while escorting a peaceful Black Lives Matter protest in that city. The president's, quote, leadership on policing in America has led only to division and distrust. Damn. Ron Hosko, first of all, the person who wrote this article does not know how to write a sentence. He doesn't believe in commas or periods. It's just run-on sentences. And so I read that as it was actually printed. So hopefully you got all that. Damn, he's made me exhausted just even reading this thing. But anyways, what he's doing is he is definitely trying to strike a racial chord by saying that, yes, our president is being racist, is what he's trying to say, against policing matters. I find that really odd because we've had policing matters issues way before President Obama and the Obama administration. It just got worse when he became president. So I'm so tired. It's exhausting to hear from these white racists constantly repeating like parakeets that President Obama caused all this. We've had policing issues and matters long before President Obama got in the White House. You white racists need to remember that. You need to put that in your thick skulls. As for his comment on Henry Louis Gates, wow, I remember that issue, and the deal with that was Henry Louis Gates was at his house. He found himself locked out, like any American does. But instead of the police responding and helping him out, once again they turned him into the perpetrator. He was the bad guy. And the racists, all they could say was, oh, he was just doing his job. Well, number one, the racist ass neighbor who called the police in the first place, shame on them for knowing thy neighbor. So much for knowing thy neighbor. You white folks you guys are so much alike. And you guys come to my channel and you say, oh, you're being racist. No, I'm exposing your racism. That's what I'm doing, and you don't like it. I'm exposing your racism. But I'm going to continue with this article. He continues by saying that division and distrust has been exacerbated by a White House that gives invertebrate race baiter Al Sharpton revolving door access and welcomes in the anti-cop Black Lives Matter, never once condemning their hateful rhetoric against police officers. There we go again. This racist jerk, Ron Hosco, who wrote this piece, is not once taking responsibility for their actions. No, what they do is they totally shove police brutality in all its ugliness under a rug. Actually, they just shove it out the door because they really don't want to talk about that at all. You notice they never do. And so instead, what they like to do is blame Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter came about because of police brutality and the like. You folks are always deflecting. It is so pathetic. You're always deflecting. Always passing the buck. Also, family, we are not dumb to the fact that when they bring up points like the White House giving Al Sharpton a revolving door access and the like, that's because Al Sharpton is a part of the black community. He does have black people in his concern, and he is raising issues that we need brought to the table. So, the fact that he does get invited to the White House to discuss issues is not abnormal. He's been there before with other presidents. You're making nothing out of nothing, Ron Hosco and the like. You white racists are just so pathetic how low and small you go to try to make a point, and then it's usually null and void. You guys just raise your issues that are non-relevant, irrelevant. Also, we haven't forgotten past presidents who have had other racist whites invited to the White House that we didn't like either. But you know what? We had to get over it because you guys did it anyways. No, I'm not going to give you any examples right now. Just go back into your history. It's been plenty of times. Just go back through your history. You've had racist whites that were invited to the White House, and we had to deal with it. So you're not having a problem with Al Sharpton being invited to the White House. Surely you can be. Back to the article. Eric Garner died while resisting arrest for a minor offense in late 2014. No, he was choked to death. And he wasn't resisting arrest. The officer found him larger than he was, and the officer didn't know how to treat another human being who happens to be black. That's what was the issue. And he put him in a chokehold and he killed him. That's what the result was. This mofo, Ron Hosco, he is a racist rat. So anyways, we've seen all the video. Yes, we have. And while Garner's death was tragic, it wasn't at all as some would portray it. Quote, killing for some Lucy cigarettes. Yeah, it surely was. Instead, it was preventable. Yes, the police officer didn't have to choke him to death. Exactly. First, by Garner simply complying with police direction. Well, why is it that white folks don't comply with police officers and they get to walk in the jail alive and well? You white racist Ron Hosco, you guys never answer that question. Why is that? Why do you guys always run away from the truth? Why is it that you guys never answer the question directly? Instead, you come with all this BS of other situations that don't have any relevance to what we're talking about here and now. Inquiring minds want to know. How is it that some terrorists can get walked to jail alive and black men cannot? That's the question. That needs to be answered, by the way. You racist trolls, don't even say nothing else until you can answer those questions. I don't even want to hear your shit. So anyways, he goes on by saying, secondly, by better judgments by New York elected and police officials on which crimes merit arrest versus a ticket or summons, and finally through better consistent use of police training of police. That's BS. You racists always say that, oh, the police need better training. Why don't they ever need this training with white people? You know why? Because you guys are racist and you guys don't want to face the facts. The police officers are racist. They are white supremacists who are wearing badges and uniforms, and they're killing us in the streets instead of allowing a court and a jury and a judge to decide our fate. Instead, this so-called justice system is allowing police officers to be God on the street. And you're wondering why we're having so many issues like this, because so many racists knew that was their way to get back at black people. And you guys have been using this far too long, and that's why we've been having so many issues. So when Loretta Lynch and the president and the Obama administration brings to light that we need to seek other FBI agents, maybe outside of the jurisdiction, who has nothing to do with the case, look at the facts, then that's the right thing to do. You guys can't keep protecting yourselves and patting each other on the back for killing another black man or black woman or black child. Family, I hope you like this video. I hope you share it. And I humbly ask, if you haven't already, to subscribe. This is Guru. Peace, love, and black power.